So we are ready to move to our next speaker, and Omri Dolev is ready for us.
Hello,
Hi, Omri. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Brilliant.
Before you start your presentation, I'm playing a game with speakers today. So far the score is speakers 1, me 0. So
Okay.
let's see if you can keep up with that. So I'm going to give you a fact about Shenzhen, and you should tell me whether it's true or false. Okay?
Okay.
All
Let's do
right.
it.
The fact is that more than half of Shenzhen's population is under 30 and mostly female.
Again, more than half of Shenzhen's population is
Under
less than 40 or
30,
more? Under.
under
30?
30 and mostly female.
No.
And this is a point for me because this is true.
Oh no.
And Shenzhen
Okay.
sometimes it gets its nickname. It's called the paradise of girls. But well, they say that they say that you won't meet many of them in the streets because they are busy at work. But still, I mean, that's the fact I found.
Well, that's very interesting, and I think that I'm married, happily married, so this is probably why I'm not doing so well on this type of questions.
Yeah, that's maybe if this presentation started a few years before, maybe your life would be different. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. But it is what it is.
All right. So I think we are ready for you. I have some comments from our technical team. Probably something about your audio. Is that true? No? Yes? Do you have headphones?
Audio? I am using headphones.
Okay. All right. So let's try to start. And over to you. We are ready to listen to your presentation. Good luck.
Okay, thank you so much. And if it becomes too bad, please interrupt, and I can drop out and drop in. Sometimes it helps.
All right.
Thank you so much, Julia. And hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. My name is Omri Dolev. I'm part of the Google AdMob team. I'm based out of Dublin, Ireland, which means that for me it's good morning. It's roughly 10 a.m. here. And I'm here to walk you through some AdMob recommended features for your games. So let's start.
Omri, just a second. Okay, let's try to. The audio is not very good. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
So let's try. We will mute you and then unmute again. And in the meantime, please try to unplug and plug the headphones.
Okay, I probably would need to leave the meeting and join again. Sorry.
Yeah. So we're gonna unmute you and in a couple seconds.
Okay.
All right. So, the situation, I don't know if you've ever been on air when something goes wrong and then the tech team is telling you, okay, keep talking, just talk about something. And you're like, yes, of course, I've been prepared for it. I can talk about anything. And that's the kind of situation that's happening right now. So we're trying to disconnect and then connect back. So hopefully the audio will be better when we come back. I know that Omri is going to tell about user acquisition and monetization. And it's very important to work with the guys from Google directly because they know some features and that might be really helpful for you when you set up your user acquisition campaigns. And let's be honest, with mobile games right now, it's not possible to do anything without user acquisition. And we probably have our speaker back online. Yeah, they tell me I can keep talking. Guys, if you had experience with user acquisition, please share your experience in the chat. Do you think it became more expensive to acquire users while during the COVID era, or vice versa? Maybe it became cheaper. What's your experience in that? All right, trying to put our speaker back online, and Okay, we're unmuting Omri right now, and let's see if the audio became better. Omri, can you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, I
Yes,
can
it's
hear you. Sorry
better.
about that.
It is better. It is better. It's so good. All right.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry.
Yeah, so we're putting your slides back on the screen, and I think you can start. Yes? Okay. Once
Okay.
again, good luck. Good luck now. All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Julia, and sorry about that, and sorry everyone for the delay. Technical mishaps do happen sometimes.
Share your screen, please. Share your screen so we can see the
Oh,
slides.
of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So can you see my slides
Yes,
now?
we can see your slides. And turn on the video now.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's okay.
Let me
It's okay.
tell
It
you.
happens.
Let me tell you, it won't happen on Google Chat. It would not
Yeah,
happen on Google
probably.
Chat.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So is it
No.
better now?
Yes, I think we have your video, your slides, and the audio is perfect. So good luck. Took
Okay,
time as a charm.
great. Finally,
Great.
time management exercise. Okay. So again, hello everyone. My name is Omri Dolev. I'm part of the Google AdMob team. I'm based out of Dublin, and I'm here to take you through some recommended features for AdMob for your games. So what we're going to cover today, and we'll try to do it quicker than I intended, of course, is to go through a couple of pillars that we have. Essentially, the first pillar will be how to maximize ads revenue from any demand source. The second will be how to use AdMob to deliver a world-class app experience. And the third pillar is how to grow your overall business with some advanced insights. Not very advanced, but slightly advanced. So let's start from the beginning. The beginning is how to maximize ads revenue. And we're going to start first with our ad formats. So in AdMob, we currently have 4 ad formats: wallet ads, interstitials, banners, and native ads. I'm not going to touch on native in this presentation. It's quite more complex, and it will probably take a bit longer to cover. So if you're interested in how you can use this powerful ad format in your game, please reach out to me later. I'm happy to discuss. But for now, I'm going to mostly focus on the rewarded, interstitials, and banners. I also want to say that we do have some very exciting new ad formats in the works. We always try to innovate, so please stay tuned. So rewarded ads, the golden child of mobile gaming monetization. I'm sure it doesn't need a lot of introduction. A user can opt in to watch a video ad in order to get some sort of incentive or perk in the game. This is a triple win situation. Essentially, it's a win for the advertiser who gets an engaged set of eyeballs on an impactful ad format for 30 seconds or so. It's a win for the user because they can gain a leg up in the game, some resources or perks for free without spending money. And of course, it's a win for you as a developer, as it allows you to generate great revenue and improve retention without impacting user experience negatively. And this is why we see that this is for us at least, the best growing ad format. In terms of ad spend, there was a 140% increase over last year, and it's 3 times the growth of any other ad format that we have. And we also see it being utilized more and more outside of pure gaming. We see it being utilized in utility apps, entertainment apps, lifestyle apps, etc. So this is a pretty amazing format. And what do we in particular do at Google to make it even better? So first thing we do is that we allow creatives to be fitting both or a screen orientation. So we have creatives fitting both vertical and landscape. We obviously allow for playable ads. So playable ads are those type of ads where you can play a snippet of a game to see if you're interested in trying it and downloading it. So it's quite effective. Then we also allow for a multi-option rewarded video, which essentially allows the user to choose from multiple creatives to just choose the one that fits best for them, which is great and very powerful for improving conversions for users. And finally, we have a great balance of both brand and performance demand from our huge network of advertisers, YouTube, etc. So this is in terms of how we help the user experience on this perspective. We also have great user controls. we allow users to fully control the volume of the ad, and we also allow the user to close the ad and exit it if they're not interested in continuing to watch it. I know that I myself have in the past triggered rewarded videos by mistake, so it's great to have the option to exit, of course, under the understanding that you're not going to get the reward. So that's very important, and we're trying to put the user's control as much as possible in the focus. So this is rewarded, and we're going to move on to interstitials. So interstitials is a bit more of a veteran ad format. Interstitials are still a great revenue driver, and I do think they're a bit underutilized, but we're going to touch that a bit later. So how does interstitials work? You're probably familiar with it. Interstitials are usually placed in natural transition points in the game, so between two screens. And it's usually a full screen ad, image ad, or a video ad or a playable ad. And the difference between interstitial and rewarded is that rewarded, as we've said, is opt-in. The user can choose to watch it or not. Interstitial is opt-out, so the user will engage with the interstitial if they get to the interstitial placement. However, they can choose to exit or to skip it after 5 seconds, which means that the user experience is not being negatively impacted. Now, in terms of the best practices, as I've said, if you want to use interstitials, please place them in natural breakpoints and transitions in your app. So for instance, if the user is in the main screen and they choose to start a new level, this is a great place to have interstitials. As you probably know, in PC and consoles and even some high demand mobile games, there is an interstitials. If it's not an ad, it's just a splash screen that is showing loading, right? So it's quite normal to have an interstitial between a menu and a level. When interstitials start to impact negatively user experience is usually when they are used too often. So for instance, if you have an interstitial at every minute or so in your game, yes, they will decrease user experience. So please try and consider frequency. If you have longer session durations, for instance, if you have a game in which the average session duration is 10 minutes, then you can definitely experiment having an interstitial and having like a 3, 4, or 5 minute frequency, which essentially means that users will not have their experience negatively impacted, and you will have a great revenue driver in the form of interstitials. Finally, make sure all the different ad types are enabled, video, playables, etc. Now for banners. Banner ads, I don't think I need to expand too much. It's the most veteran ad format that we have. It's been around since the early days of the web, right? I just wanted to show you what we're doing in AdMob to make banners a bit more appealing to 2020. So as you can see to the right, in the image to the right, you have a standard banner and how it looks like. Not so amazing. To the left, you have our new adaptive banner, which looks significantly better. I'm sure you'll agree. The difference is that adaptive banner fits automatically screen orientation and screen size, so your user will enjoy a significantly better visual experience. Now, another point around banners that I want to bring up is that, yes, it's true that banners have lower eCPMs than interstitials and rewarded. This is a true point. However, you can easily offset it if you have a game that users spend a lot of time in the same screen. You can place a banner and then refresh the creative in the banner every 30 seconds or so, which means it will drive significantly more impressions. So the number of impressions will offset the lower eCPM and will generate a great revenue stream for you. So as I've said, I'm going to skip interstitial and going to, skip native, we touched interstitial, and go straight into mediation and open bidding. Now mediation, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept in general, even if you're not using it at the moment. So essentially what mediation is, it allows you to take the very static waterfall that is the basic way to arrange multiple networks. And instead of manually optimizing it and updating it, you can let AdMob do it for you. So essentially every day, once or twice or so, AdMob will go into the different networks dashboard and will take the data, the performance data, most recent one, and then rearrange a waterfall per country, right? AdMob will do it for each country individually. So for instance, if we have network A generating in the last day $8 and network B $7, the network A will be on top and network B will be under. The great thing about this is that AdMob network itself will run in real time, and for every potential impression, it will generate a fresh bid, and then will automatically adjust itself to the position it needs to be. So if it has a higher potential bid than network A, it will be above network A. If it has between network A and network B, it will place itself between network A and network B, and will do it for every single impression. Now, of course, that the problem with this is that this is done only once per day, and this is not the most optimized way to do it. And we're going to touch it again a bit later. However, for now, we know that implementing mediation is not the easiest thing to do. So in order to make life a bit more easier for you developers, we have created the mediation test suite. With the mediation test suite, you can skip the jury rigging phase of trying to call particular networks through the front end and through the live environment, and you can actually use the mediation test suite in order to force a call to a particular network for a particular placement, by the way, and then see if you get an ad or you don't get an ad. If you don't get an ad, you'll know why. Is it the SDK? Is it the adapter? Is it a field issue? Mediation test suite will help you sort this out. Of course, classic mediation is not the only way to do mediation today, and not the only way to manage a waterfall. Another way that is very popular today and actually quite effective is the multiple calls to third-party networks. So essentially what it means is that if you have network A and network B, you will call each of them multiple times. Let's say you call each of them 3 times. So you'll call network A with a price floor of $8, then network B with a price floor of $7.5, network A again at $7, etc., etc. This is meant to resolve the issue with the classic mediation where you have the numbers updated only once or twice per day. This will force that for every impression, you will get the best network for every particular impression to serve. So this is definitely more profitable than using the classic mediation. However, there are very big drawbacks. One drawback is that it requires a lot of management time. So for instance, if you have, let's say, 5 networks and you have 2 games on 2 platforms, and you're using both rewarded and interstitial in multiple placements, and you have multiple, let's say, geographic concentrations, let's say you're using tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, whatever that means, you will have hundreds of calls that you need to manage each day manually arrange them and update them. This takes a full-time person's day in order to just arrange. So this is not very effective, of course. Another drawback is that it increases ad latency, and this is not a very good user experience. So how do we move forward from the classic mediation and the multiple call into a better future? We do it with open bidding. Open bidding is a new feature that we have right now in beta in AdMob. You might have heard about a similar thing in other different names. Essentially what it is allowing third-party networks to bid in AdMob mediation in real time and compete with the real-time bid that AdMob can generate. So instead of having to kind of guess based on past experience, you guarantee to have the best performing bid for every impression. The other added advantages, of course, is that you'll have less SDKs to integrate. You won't have to manage the waterfall, as we've discussed with the multiple call, and there will be lower latency. And reporting will be focused in one place, as well as billing. So you won't have to set up billing entities with multiple third-party platforms, which is obviously a hassle. And again, the biggest upside is that you will know that for every impression, you will get the highest bid without need to worry, guess, or kind of artificially push it. Of course, open bidding won't be a great solution if we didn't have great partners for it. So as you can see, we have some great names bidding in real time on AdMob, Audience Network, Saved by Facebook, AppLovin, AdColony, Tapjoy, and others. It's also important to mention, very important, that yes, there may be other similar solutions out there by other players. However, AdMob real-time bidding is available only on AdMob. It won't be available on any other solution. So it's important to keep that in mind. Now we've done with covering the first pillar, we'll move to the second pillar, how to deliver a world-class app experience more easily. And we're going to start with ads quality. So how do we help you control ad quality with AdMob? By using our blocking controls tab. So as you can see here, this is the account level blocking control tab. There are 2 levels essentially. So this is the account level, and here you have the app level. So essentially you can set up particular blocking controls for particular apps or for the account level itself. And what can you do in the blocking controls tab? You can essentially block different by different hierarchies. So you can block categories, you can block app install ads, you can block advertiser URLs, you can block particular ad networks that buy through our Google Ad Exchange, and you have the Ad Review Center. What is the Ad Review Center? This is what the Ad Review Center is. Essentially, it allows you to view all the different creatives, all of them. So you can endlessly scroll through the creatives that are shown in your app by AdMob. And it allows you to block or allow different creatives to show. So for instance, if you have tried your app recently and have seen an ad that you don't like, some creative you do not approve of, or you're getting some complaints from users regarding a particular creative, you can use image search. You can take a screenshot of this creative, and you can use image search in the Ad Review Center to find any creatives that fit this type of image, and then just block it, and it will not show again. So it's a very powerful tool to enable you to surgically remove creatives that you're not happy with. So after touching ads quality, how do we support lighter workload? So in terms of a lighter workload, we have the AdMob API. AdMob API is pretty new, and it helps you, instead of having to extract Excel sheets and stuff like that, you can get directly through the AdMob API to feed into your BI platform information such as earnings, impressions, eCPM, match requests, etc. So it makes life significantly easier in terms of making smart decisions. Finally, the last pillar I want to cover is how to grow your overall business with some unique insights. And again, this is not extremely advanced, just slightly more advanced. So let's see what we have in store. So the first thing I wanted to touch out of two is smart segmentation. And before I'm going to touch exactly what smart segmentation is, let's see a bit of background. So in the average app, as you're probably well aware, most users are not going to spend any money. That's the unfortunate truth. So 96%, according to our numbers of users, will never spend on an in-app purchase. So how do you monetize those 96% of the users? Some of you might say rewarded videos, and you are totally correct. This is a great way to monetize the rest of the users, but not all of them. So roughly 30 to maybe 50% in a good scenario will probably engage with the rewarded videos. And you'll still have 50 to 70% of your users that are not monetized at all, which is something that is a true shame. So what we do to help, we use the TensorFlow machine learning model in order to look in what we know in the Google ecosystem as known purchasers compared to known non-purchasers, and we fed it into the machine learning model until we can come up with a prediction for a new user in your app, whether the user is likely to do or has some likelihood, to do an in-app purchase, or is completely unlikely to do an in-app purchase. And this is how we can affect an automated change in the user journey for each of those users based on their designation. So let's say that you have a game, and the usual user flow is that they have a menu screen, and then they can click a button and start a new level or a new mission. And right now they receive no ad, right? So as I've said, interstitials, non-existent, underutilized. How do we make interstitials utilized? Using smart segmentation. So based on whether we understand, AdMob understands a user to be a likely purchaser, we will not show an ad. So to likely purchasers, no ad will be shown. It will be the same user journey. However, if we perceive a user to be an unlikely purchaser, we're going to show an interstitial ad. And this can be a huge difference for you in terms of revenue, tens of percents in terms of the bottom line revenue. Keep in mind, though, that when we say likely purchasers, we don't mean it's not binary. It doesn't mean that the user will definitely be a purchaser. It means that we see some likelihood, even small one, that the user will be a purchaser. So we are very cautious with smart segmentation. So if the user, even if it has like 10% of being in a purchaser, we're not going to show an interstitial, only when we are positively certain. Another great feature that we have for smart segmentation is that you can essentially very easily set up an experiment mode through the AdMob UI. You can set up an experiment where only 10% of your users will be part of the smart segmentation experiment, and you can see for those users what is the retention and what is the bottom line revenue, and compare it with the rest of the users, and then decide whether you want to roll out smart segmentation to your entire user base or you don't. I think that's a no-brainer, and it's a good thing to use. However, smart segmentation is only available on the AdMob platform. So if you're using a third-party mediation, you won't be able to use a smart segmentation. So definitely consider AdMob platform if you are interested in doing this transition. Now, the second thing I wanted to touch is about rewarded ads frequency capping. So that's a different topic, and I think that what we are seeing is that a lot of our partners are setting up frequency capping for rewarded ads at around 3 or 4 ads per user per day. Now, there's a very reasonable rationale behind it, and the rationale is that every reward you provide your users has some sort of monetary value, and if you allow users to watch endless ads, they can essentially farm or abuse the system, and they won't do any in-app purchase. Now, my point here is that this is not necessarily true, and actually, usually it's not true, and I'm here to challenge this assumption. So let's say that your global average eCPM for rewarded ads is $10, and your minimum in-app purchase is $2. This means that in order to kind of match the value, the monetary value, a user will have to watch 200 video ads. And this roughly translates into 100 minutes of videos watched. If your user has the capacity, of course, to spend in your app, and the user is so engaged or so invested in your game that they will spend 100 minutes watching a video ad, they will probably just prefer to do the in-app purchase. What you essentially do by setting up a frequency capping is you're punishing those users who can't or won't spend money in your app, and they won't be able to get the edge or the extra resources that they need in order to feel that they can advance in the game. And this will probably lead to more lower retention and lower LTV. If you allow users to watch unlimited number of rewarded videos, you'll probably see zero impact on your IAP revenue. However, you will see significant impact on your LTV for total users, for long-tail users, those users who do not have the capacity to do an in-app purchase or will just not do it for any other reason. So that's what I have for you today, and happy to get questions, if we have the time, of course.
Yes. Thank you very much for your presentation. And yes, we have a few questions, not very much time though, but we'll try to be quick. So the first one will be like real short. So did you say AdMob network will be available under AdMob's mediation service in the future? Was that correct?
So AdMob network is part of the AdMob platform. It always has been. So it's currently available. Anyone who's using AdMob mediation is viable to use at the AdMob network, of course.
All right, thank you. Another question is very interesting. I've been asking it for a couple of years now, I think, or maybe like for a year, but it's not for me. So how long you should teach the algorithm for, to get best results, and how much money you should spend to achieve these good results?
So I'm not sure I fully understand the context of the question. Is this under the smart segmentation part? It's in terms of the algorithm?
No, the algorithm for user acquisition, as far as I understand. So
the algorithm for user acquisition?
Yes.
Well, that's a great question, but I think that the best people to answer would be people from the user acquisition side. So I am from the publishing, the ad monetization side. We have people on the user acquisition side, and these would be the people who are best suited to answer. So I don't want to give you any wrong answer here.
Will you be able to connect our viewers with some of the guys from your team, maybe from the user acquisition side?
Yes. So if anyone has questions, they can reach out to me through the system, and I'm happy to put them in touch with the correct people.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. I think this is it for now. Thank you for your presentation, and thank you for the point onto my side with the game we had before the presentation.
Of course. Happy to oblige.
Thank you very much. All right. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.